Okay, so let's talk about session 3. If we head on into the content module and we click on the welcome page and we kind of advance through, don't forget you have a checklist. You can check things off as you finish them. Um, I'll go ahead and skip the checklist and we'll just look at the pages. In this session, you're going to be doing reading response number 2, and that's chapter 1 of Understanding by Design by Wiggins and McTee. It's a great chapter for really understanding the kind of thinking you have to do for designing instruction, for planning, for learning experiences with students, and you could even apply it to clients, although it really lends itself a little bit better to teaching and designing larger units. The BYOT podcast is an opportunity for you to research BYOT, which is a sourcing phenomenon taking place in a lot of schools around Atlanta and in Georgia, also called BYOD. And some of you have already observed in such classrooms, you've worked with it already. So it's your chance to kind of dig a little deeper with it, and then you're going to do a podcast response to it. You can, if you go to the podcast workshop wiki, you'll find that there's two main options. There's the old school way and there's the new school way. And the new school way, of course, is with the smartphone, and it's pretty easy. If you have an iOS, that is an Apple, or an Android cell phone or mobile device, it's pretty easy to do this. Probably even with other types of mobile devices, you could figure it out as long as there were an app for recording audio. And the other thing I want you to do this week is engage in the BYOT Twitter chat. So we'll just stay kind of on topic with BYOT. This is something that happens every Thursday night at 9 p.m. And you can tune in live on Twitter and watch the Twitter feed and watch people talk about BYOT and share links and talk about all kinds of things related to it. And if there's a different professional community you'd rather try to go out and find and go interact with some of their stuff for 30 minutes to an hour, that's fine. You can change it. It doesn't have to be the BYOT Twitter chat. Just go and make sure you change it on your little table on your wiki and let me know what it was, and maybe give me a link to it so that I can go check it out too. And you don't have to tune in live to that BYOT Twitter chat. You can actually go look at the feed. If you check out the instructions here, there's a link to the actual feed, and you can just sort of peruse through it asynchronously. That is, not during the chat time, because people are always posting on it all week long, and you can go look at some of the resources and conversation they've had through Twitter. And the point of that is that you should, the point of it, the idea, and I hate to say you should because you have so much you have to do, but I think that as a professional in teaching and speech language pathology, it helps if you can reach out to professional communities. And so this is an example of that, of what teaching professionals and other people that use BYOT in schools, which can include SLPs. It's an example of them connecting, sharing good ideas, sharing ideas that failed perhaps, asking what if questions about this innovation, and it keeps them engaged in their work. And I think that's an important thing that we teachers need if we're going to not get burned out and if we want to keep on, trying to make sure we're doing the best we can. And so that's the point. And so if you don't want to do it with this topic and with this group, you can go find another group. There's like so many. So go explore and see if you can find something else and go check out their stuff and maybe tell me a little bit about it. I'll leave it up to you how you want to do that. All right. So there's a couple of examples of educational uses of podcasting at the elementary school level, sort of interdisciplinary podcasting, and then I found a middle school example from a social studies classroom. So check out those different uses of the podcast. These are just a few examples. I've reached the point where the podcast has been around so long that it becomes a suspect technology, in that I don't want to be teaching it just because it's something I like, but it continues to be used in the most sort of cutting edge districts in our state. It continues to be one of the forms of expression out of maybe 15. There's a lot of different ways you can express yourself, but it continues to be integral to technology enhanced instruction. So I continue to use it. So it's been around a while now. It's been around for like, what, 7 or 8 years? And longer with people that have known how to do it for longer. But it's been, kind of a hot thing for 7 years. And that means it's not so much of a hot thing anymore, right? But it's sort of maturing. But when schools stop using it and stop finding relevance in the spoken word, then maybe we'll stop seeing it around. Okay, finally, this is my interview with an administrator in a suburban school district outside of Atlanta, very close to Atlanta. And I talked to him about their implementation of BYOT. And if you want, it might make sense to actually take a listen to this before you do your BYOT podcast. You could even use it as, you know, for some ideas for your podcast, for things that you could talk about. I mean, I try not to reveal the identity of that school district because it's online, and you don't want to reveal stuff like that about schools that are specific without lots of permission. But uh, it is a suburban district, and it may be useful to you as you go and do the BYOT podcast. All right, so that is session 3. Let me know how I can help you guys, and I'll see you online. This is going to go so fast.